Hi, I'm Brett Boswell with Page38 News. We're here today in Scottsdale, Arizona with 2028 U.S. presidential GOP candidate Gary Barve. How you doing?
How are you, Brett? Great to meet with you today, and thank you for giving me the honor and opportunity to interview with the Page38 News Publication. And Brett and I met about 2 days back at the Charlie Kirk and Congressman Andy Biggs event, and again, I'm thankful for you to give me the honor and opportunity to interview with you. Again, ask me any question, open book. And just want to introduce myself to your great viewers and listeners. My name is Gary Barve. I am a huge supporter of our President Donald J. Trump, a proud Republican of the Republican Party that belongs to our President Donald J. Trump. And I'm officially running for President of the United States of America in the 2028 election to help President Trump make America great again, keep America great, and to help him save America. And I'm running because I love President Trump. I love our country, the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And I love our great American people, and I want to help President Trump make America great again, keep America great, and I want to help him save America. And I'll say this, I respect all religions, but I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. I believe the Bible is the Word of God. And I genuinely believe that Jesus Christ is with President Trump. Jesus Christ is with our country, the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And Jesus Christ is with you, our great American people. And I'll say, Jesus Christ is with me, and we're going to save America. And President Trump's had a tremendous start to his administration. And especially I want to talk about the southern border situation. Under dumb as a rock Kamala and crooked Joe Biden's horrific Democrat Party elected officials, 20 million, approximately 20 million illegal immigrants crossed across the southern border into our great United States of America illegally, bringing in crime and fentanyl, the drug fentanyl, which killed hundreds of thousands of our great American people. And there were these gangs that came into our country, right? There's this gang, TREN de ARAGUA. They call themselves TREN de ARAGUA. And it's a Venezuelan gang that came into our country illegally from across the southern border. And the first thing I said to myself when I heard about this gang, TREN de ARAGUA, is what a stupid name for a gang, right? Who names their gang TREN de ARAGUA? It's a stupid name. But it's a vicious gang, and they literally took over a complete building in Colorado recently. There's another gang that's come into our country, MS-13. These are bad people. These are bad people. They literally cut people up just for fun. And I visited the U.S. southern border recently with some great American law enforcement officers and officials. And I heard about some more gang names, the SINAOLA cartel. These are bad people. And so my direct message right now on the Page38 News Publication interview to any gang members that might be listening in, including MS-13 gang members, TREN de ARAGUA gang members, SINAOLA cartel gang members, my direct message to these gang members is get the hell out of our great United States of America. If you don't, we will incarcerate members of your gangs, or we will kick members of your gangs out of our country. Brett, I'm ready to take a bullet for you. I'm ready to take a bullet for our American people, because I want to keep our great American people safe and secure. And I'll say this, law and order, our great American police, sheriffs, ICE, military, veterans, firefighters, first responders, law and order is, in my opinion, the very fabric that keeps our country the greatest country in the world, along with many other things such as American patriotism, American exceptionalism, and entrepreneurial spirit, and I'll say this, the personality that our great American people have, young American people, senior American people, we have tremendous personalities in our great United States of America, and these are some of the reasons why I believe America is the greatest country in the world, and we will always be the greatest country in the world. And I'll say, along with these reasons, I will say another reason, President Donald J. Trump's tremendous patriotic leadership and our great American flag.
Now, on your website, you praise President Trump's deregulation and tax cuts.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on taxes on tips, taxes on Social Security, and taxes on overtime?
Well, I support President Trump's tremendous America First agenda, which is on my campaign website 100%. And you said no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. I think these are tremendous initiatives, and I believe they are included in what President Trump calls the big beautiful bill, which has passed the U.S. House of Representatives and is with the U.S. Senate right now. And these are tremendous initiatives. I'll say this, President Donald J. Trump has completely redefined the Trump Republican Party, and it is now the People's Republican Party. Our great American police, sheriffs, ICE, military, veterans, firefighters, first responders, great American farmers, our great American bartenders, restaurant workers, great American motorcycle riders, truckers, and so many people, carries, small business owners, big business owners, podcast hosts like you, so many great people. These are the people that built our great United States of America. And I just believe President Trump has completely redefined the Republican Party, and it is President Donald J. Trump's Republican Party in the sense that he's the leader of our Republican Party. But the party, the Republican Party, the Trump Republican Party, the President Trump Republican Party really belongs to the American people. So many patriotic, hardworking American people who love the country and love the flag. And I'm not even mentioning all the groups that I mentioned. I'm sure there are so many more groups of people who are great people, and the party, the Republican Party, now belongs to you. And I'll say this, America belongs with the American people. I'll say it unequivocally, and I'll say it very happily with a lot of happiness and joy. So I support the no tax on tips, I support the no tax on overtime, and the policies that you mentioned. I think they're tremendous initiatives that President Trump has come up with, and they're going to help our American people tremendously.
Now, 2028, 2029 is still a few years away. What will your foreign policy priorities be regarding, say, China and the South China Sea, Iran, Israel, Russia, and Ukraine?
So let me say this, right? So I'm a candidate for president in the 2028 election cycle as a Republican supporter of President Trump, Gary Barve. I'm a candidate for president. I'm not the president at this time. And so I'm not privy to all the information that the power of the seat would get to make a determination on what foreign policy should look like exactly right now. Or I would also say, you said exactly right, 2028, 2029, January 20th, 2029, if I win the presidential election, the inauguration is January 20th, 2029. And that's a long time away, and so we don't know exactly what the situation will be at that time. So I'll make some comments on the foreign policy situation given the current circumstances, all right? Let's talk about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So President Trump has the initiative where he said the killing has to stop between Russia and Ukraine. Thousands of people are dying every day. Now I will say this, I, Gary Barve, am the America First candidate. I love our country, the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. But I support President Trump's initiative where he says, he wants to broker a peace negotiation between Putin, Zelensky, and Russia and Ukraine. And so, my position is Putin and Zelensky need to get on the negotiating table with President Donald J. Trump. President Donald J. Trump as the leader of the free world, as the 47th President of the United States of America, and they should, get on the negotiating table with him. Putin and Zelensky should get on the negotiating table with him, and the killing has to stop, in my opinion. That's very important. The other thing I will say, you talked about the Israel-Hamas situation, the Israel-Hamas conflict. I'll say this, I support Israel, I love Israel. I believe Israel is America's friend and ally. And the October 7th, 2023, it was a terrorist attack by Hamas against Israel. It was a terrorist attack. Hamas is a terrorist organization. And so I support Israel, but I will also say this, the one country that I love infinitely more than any other country in the world is our great country, the United States of America. And so that's my position on the Israel-Hamas conflict situation. And you mentioned China, I believe you mentioned as well. And now let me say this. Look, I made a campaign promise that China, if I become the 48th President of the United States of America in the by winning the 2028 election on November 7th, China will not be allowed to own any farmland in our great United States of America. I know a lot of great American farmers. I used to reside in Iowa for a few months, and actually a friend of mine has joined my campaign from Iowa officially. He's a great American farmer, patriotic guy, Republican Trump supporter. His name's Jason. And so I love our great American farmers, and that's one thing that I've heard from a lot of great American farmers. And the other thing about China is, they own a lot of land in America near military bases. I don't like that. We're not going to allow that to happen if I become the next and the 48th President of the United States of America. As a Republican supporter of President Trump, there are Chinese spies in America. That's going to stop as well. But I will say this, look, I believe in peace through strength, right? President Trump believes in peace through strength. And so I will say this, President Xi of China is a smart man, he's a strong man. He rules his Chinese Communist Party with an iron fist. But President Xi of China loves China. I, Gary Barve, and President Donald J. Trump love our country, the United States of America. So all these three things that I mentioned, we're going to get done. I'm going to get it done as the next President of the United States of America if I get elected on November 7, 2028. And talking about peace through strength, I've learned a lot about peace through strength from President Donald J. Trump. And I've studied it. And I believe in peace through strength. So in my opinion, peace through strength can be defined through these attributes or through these three things, right? So the personality of the president, the manner in which the president communicates the message, the, I would say, the gut instinct, the ability to make decisions at the right time, so the correct sense of timing and the ability to take action based upon that gut instinct and the correct sense of timing, along with love for our United States of America, is what, in my opinion, defines peace through strength. And the other thing I will say is, leverage is something that is very important as well. So I'll give you the example of tariff situation between the United States of America and China, right? So I will say America has a lot of leverage when it comes to, we're the biggest market in the world. America is the biggest market in the world. And President Trump, he called it Liberation Day, right? April 2nd, he called it Liberation Day, where he imposed tariffs on probably 180 or even more than 180 countries from across the world. And I think we have the leverage to make sure that these other countries, some of these countries are friendly countries, some of these countries are not friendly countries, and some of these countries are enemies of our great United States of America. We want to make sure that these countries are not ripping off our great United States of America by imposing high tariffs on the United States of America. And we have the leverage. So President Trump imposed what he called reciprocal tariffs. I called it reciprocal tariffs with kindness that President Trump imposed on these other countries. And so I think, we have the leverage to get things done as well. And sort of pivoting a little bit, tariffs is something that I completely support as well. And I think President Trump's had a tremendous start to his administration, and we're going to go from strength to strength.
Well, you definitely answered a lot of my questions about foreign policy and the economy. I guess the last question I have for you is, do you currently live here in Arizona?
Yes, I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. And, I relocated to Arizona from Iowa. I used to reside in Iowa for a few months. I ran for U.S. Congress prior to that from the 23rd district in Florida, which is a little bit south of Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago, I believe, is the 22nd district in Florida. And, I've been to Mar-a-Lago a few times. I've met with President Donald J. Trump. And, we had a really nice result in the U.S. Congress primary election in the 23rd district in Florida. I ran as a Republican supporter of President Donald J. Trump. And I have run for office in Santa Clara, California as well in the 2020 election cycle. As a Republican supporter of President Trump, I ran for City Council, Santa Clara District 6. And we had a really tremendous result for that campaign as well. That was my first election as a candidate for office. And I wore a red Make Santa Clara Great hat during that campaign, which was given to me by the then vice chair of the California Republican Party. And his name is Peter Kuo. And he's a great guy. And it was a tremendous result. We got 23% of the vote in that Santa Clara City Council election. And there were approximately 23% of the vote. And there were, to my memory, only about 17% Republicans in the district that I was running in. So we had a tremendous result. And I'm now running, obviously, as for President of the United States of America in the 2028 election as the biggest, most loyal supporter of President Donald J. Trump in America. And I just want to share this real quick with you, Brett. There's this great book by President Trump. It's titled Think Big by President Trump. In my opinion, it's the greatest book ever written after the Bible. And that's one of the inspirations for me to be able to run for president, or for me to decide to run for president. Because in the book, he talks about think big. He says, never give up, never, ever, ever, ever give up. Go against the tide, which means go against the current, go against the convention. Love the country, serve the country, and dream big and bold. And I said, I want to run for president because I love President Trump, love our country, the greatest country in the world, the United States of America, and I love our great American people. And I'll say this, America runs through my blood, body, mind, and soul. And so, it's been a tremendous start to the campaign. I've interviewed with Newsmax, Fox News. I don't know if I mentioned this during the interview, but I've interviewed with Newsmax, Fox News, RSPN, Right Side Broadcasting Network, Epoch Times, the Washington Examiner. The interviews with Newsmax and Fox News have not been broadcast yet on their networks. and I've interviewed with probably about 20-25 regional networks, regional shows as well, including your awesome the Page38 News Publication. And again, I really appreciate you giving me the honor and opportunity to interview with you, Brett.
Well, I'd just like to thank you so much for your time today. I think my audience has learned so much about you. It's been very informative.
Thank you, sir.
All right.